I'm Jenn.
And I'm Mal.
Welcome to Chokeholds and Chill. Today's episode is sponsored by Mil Usos Skincare and Limitless Tape. Today's guest is proof that you don't have to have it all figured out when you start. You just have to start. We are sitting down with Damien Tanenbaum, entrepreneur, executive consultant, action actor, fight coordinator, producer, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, partner at Triple Crown Athletic and Carlson Gracie Jiu Jitsu. But honestly, my favorite part of the story is that he was just a regular guy who started Jiu Jitsu in his mid-30s because his son wanted to train.
Somewhere along the line, I'll just try jiu-jitsu, turned into black belt, acting in films, coordinating fight scenes, producing movies, and building businesses. So apparently showing up consistently is dangerous.
This episode is really about giving yourself permission to be a beginner. Whether it's jiu-jitsu, acting, business, or life, Damien's story is one big reminder that success isn't usually one giant leap. It's thousands of little steps sideways and upward that eventually become something extraordinary.
Damien, welcome to Chokeholds and Chill. We are so excited to have you.
Well, thank you so much. I tell you, with that introduction, I'm not even sure we have to talk.
Yeah, no pressure.
Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear your story. Like, we just want to jump right in and start at the beginning.
Yeah, you didn't start jiu-jitsu till your 30s. That's a little bit later in the sport. What made you finally walk through the door? Was it actually the son that got you started?
Yeah, so here's what happened. So look, as a kid, I was a scrawny little kind of street rat. I got in a lot of street fights. I did do karate and I did wrestle, and ended up kickboxing, when I was 16, 17 years old. Then life happened. I got married, had kids. And when my son was somewhere around 10 or 11, he's like, Dad, I wouldn't mind doing some kind of kickboxing or boxing. And, I kind of reminded him I used to kickbox when I was young. And we ended up at a local martial arts studio, starting at white belts doing kickboxing. And while we were there was a guy in a small room off to the side. And, he was just sitting there choking people out one by one. Started, watching that, and we're like, wow, that looks fun. So we said, well, let's try that. So, we started doing it, and it actually was fun. And we started doing that more, kept kickboxing and started doing jiu-jitsu together. And, I was always a dad that, I didn't take my kids somewhere and drop them off and leave. I wanted to do it with him. So the fact that, we were doing stuff together at the same time, growing and learning together, it was pretty cool. And it was just a great start, a great entry into the sport of jiu-jitsu.
I love that because I am not a parent, but man, I can't wait to live closer to like my nieces and nephews because I'm going to bring them to jiu-jitsu and do jiu-jitsu with them. And that's so special to be able to share that with your son. Did you immediately like fall in love with it, or did it kind of suck for a while? Because it can definitely
suck at the beginning, right?
Well, I think we're 20 years later and it still sucks.
Yes.
But no, it's funny because I'm not sure I fell in love with it, but I tell you what, it was actually better than getting, punched or kicked in the face.
Oh,
and so
yeah. There you go.
I did enjoy the fact that, as a rightly aged person at the time, I could get in there and I could, my old wrestling skills were kind of enough to make me feel like I wasn't, the lowest person in the room. And I had, just a little bit of ability to scramble. I had a lot of, fight experience from being, as a young kid. And then, of course, with my son in the room, I had to kind of, step it up a little too, right? I couldn't be a pussy. So
facts.
It helped, make me want to become better. And, to kind of keep going with the story, what actually kind of then made me fall in love was the fact I was traveling a lot for work. And typically when you travel for work, you end up eating like crap. Mm-hmm. And you end up going out to drink with coworkers every night, and you come home kind of feeling like crap.
True.
And the mindset of jiu-jitsu kind of changed it a little bit. I was working in Montreal at the time, going back and forth pretty much every second or third week. And my son was, really into, he was like, really falling in love with the sport. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, George St. Pierre trains in Montreal. We should try to go to this gym next time you're there." And so, one of my next trips, I took him. We made an appointment to see the strength trainer who worked with GSP, and made an appointment to have a private lesson in a TriStar, which is where GSP was training. And through that appointment, we then started, I started training there every time I'd go to Montreal, and got a chance to, train with GSP a little bit, got a chance to train with that whole team. And I realized at that point in time, when I traveled for work to different places around the world, I wasn't going to go out drinking every night. I wasn't going to stay up late and ruin my body. I was going to actually start taking care of myself. And that's kind of what put me on what I would call a new fitness journey at that time.
I love that.
That is really cool. And so I know you said 20 years ago. So how old were you when you started?
Mid-30s. So I am 30. What am I? 55 today. I'll be 56 next week.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Yeah, I try not to celebrate it. I think my blood test age said I was 9 years younger. So
there you go.
Hell yeah.
Hey, whatever number you celebrate, at least you're doing it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu keeps you young.
Yes.
Yeah, and it does.
Wink, wink.
And, I found it interesting too, because what I liked is you could go anywhere in the world. And then I travel a lot. I was going to Philippines. I was going to different places in Canada and different places in the U.S. And no matter what city I landed in, I would just go on my phone and look up, jiu-jitsu around me, and I'd find something. And even if it wasn't, a pure jiu-jitsu, it might have been no gi, grappling. It might have been gi jiu-jitsu, or even just some kind of HIIT training program. It was fun to just be a part of and drop in and find that family away from home, not in a bar drinking.
Right, right. I was going to ask if you felt like you missed an opportunity by starting later, but it almost feels like it was at exactly the right time in your life that it came in.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely was. Of course, now I look back and I definitely feel like I missed an opportunity. I wish I did it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Competed a lot more, but the reality is I probably would have quit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I would, same thing. If I was younger, I would have got maybe more tired of it by now.
Yep. And
now I'm trying to stay young.
And it's also neat too, because the one thing about jiu-jitsu is, we all know you can, 20 of us could be sitting in a room and the instructor can explain a move 10 times the exact same way. And when we walk off into our little group, whether it's one partner or a small group of people, we're still going to do it our way, a tiny bit different, and kind of still mess it up and so on. So imagine that feeling, being able to kind of not just deal with one instructor and hear from them, but traveling around the world and going to different gyms, all teaching an arm bar, but teaching it a tiny bit different.
Yes.
So cool.
It really is the best part of traveling and dropping in. I think it's almost as beneficial as a competition.
It is. It's right, because you have to step it up a little bit, right?
A little bit, but also being cautious.
Yes, very cautious, and you kind of have to do it their way.
Yes.
So you get a chance to learn, even if you know it. You could be perfect at it, but they're going to show you a little position different with your fingers, a little way to grip differently. They're going to show something, and you just learn so much from it if you're willing to learn. Some people aren't willing to learn, but I've made it kind of almost my life's vision to just continue learning.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
Yeah, you're somebody that literally embodies lifelong learning. If you could go back and tell white belt Damien on day one something, what would you tell him?
I'd be a little bit more careful with my body.
Okay, good advice.
I did go pretty hard all the way through purple. And then, when I hit 45, I ended up having like 3 surgeries. Every other year I had a surgery.
Oh no.
And it was because I was kind of trying too hard. I was doing, like a cardio kickboxing at, 6 a.m. I was doing jiu-jitsu at noon and then trying to do a CrossFit workout at 6 p.m.
Jeez.
And I was doing a little too much.
Yeah.
And so you know that, and I think you guys, you get that white belt who comes in there and is just a spaz.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was probably a spaz white through purple.
Oh no, that's a hard place to sit.
You're that guy.
The guy that everybody's like, fuck, not that guy. Here he is.
Yeah. But it's funny because now I'm like the slowest guy, and if my toenail hurts, I'm not going to roll because I don't want my shoulder to hurt.
Right? I had a great round with you. I really was like, oh yeah, it was so technical and chill. It was real. I was so grateful for it because I'm old myself, so I understand it. Like, yeah, I think you're great.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I'm more technical and more chill.
Yeah,
and it's funny because sometimes I don't even feel like I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm kind of just sitting and moving and flowing and gripping and rolling, and so it's kind of like you don't have to put tension on tension. You can kind of just move with a little bit, and use your grips wisely and use your movement wisely without exploding all the time.
Flow like the ocean. It works really well.
Yeah.
Is there something about being a beginner at anything that just really excites you? Because you do start a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because what's cool about being a beginner is, one, the expectations are a little bit low, and it's always you get to talk to so many people and they're like, "Oh, I wish I could do that. Man, it's so cool that you're a black belt. Oh man, I can't believe you're in that movie." Or, and well, I'm like, guess what? It was a freaking Facebook ad that said they wanted background. So I showed up.
Nice. That's so cool.
And, and then I showed up again. And then they said, "Hey, we're trying to do this, fight scene." And I said, "Well, what if you actually, what if you stand in this position and you put the camera here and you play around with it?" So cool. It's not like I didn't go to Harvard to become a fight coordinator. I've just sat there, watched, used my skills that I've earned, and then said, "Hey, let's try this."
Yes.
But again, cool. to your point, just get off the couch, and if you see something you want to try, don't be afraid to go and be a beginner.
Yeah. Why do you think that so many adults are afraid to try things that they might not immediately be good at?
People don't like to fail. And people look around and think everybody's looking at them. Even when I welcome a new person into jiu-jitsu, right? They step on the mat, they might have socks on, right? So you got to say, "Hey, you don't need to wear your socks."
Yeah.
It's just, you see them awkward, fidgeting with their fingers, and you're like, "No, come on in. Let's just relax a little bit. Let's stretch."
Yeah.
And I think, and that's crazy because these are people that have raised kids, have successful jobs, whatever, right? They're probably successful at so many different things. But the second you put somebody who's very successful on the mat, it's brand new to them, and they may lock up. They may be claustrophobic.
Yeah.
They can't stand feet. Whatever it is. You just never know what it's going to be until they kind of do it.
Yeah. And sometimes people don't know. Yeah, like you said, they have no idea, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of it, and they're like, "I can't because of this. I had no idea."
Yeah, it's one of the things I like to do with a new class. And obviously you teach defense, you teach all these different things, but one of the things I do like to do on somebody's first day is make sure they understand they're going to be touched.
Yeah.
And so like I do this in a sense where they do it to me as well. But you put them on their knees for. Line them up on their knees, and you kind of you teach them a basic rear naked choke with no hooks in. So the person behind them goes on their knees behind them and puts the rear naked choke in and just pulls the elbows together for that just that 2 to 3 seconds, and the person taps quick, right?
Yeah.
And then you give them that opportunity to do it to each other. 3 to 5 newbies doing it to each other, and of course they get to do it to me as well. But that feeling of, oh my gosh, that's what it feels like. And you watch it on TV and you think, well, I'd hold my breath for a minute. The second it happens, you're 2 to 3 seconds in and you're tapping, right?
Yeah,
or you're coughing and your eyes are watering, So I think it's an interesting, when you put people into that position and you allow them to put you in that position, it kind of, I don't know, you get over the storming period pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. You make yourself really vulnerable, and then you also accept it.
Yeah. And the second you accept it, then you're like, okay, I'm ready to learn this.
Yeah. Yes.
I think something too that like adults sometimes forget how to like play and have fun. And jiu-jitsu is just like super fun because you're playing like a kid, but you're like learning so much.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Us adults are stupid. Like stupid funny kid. It's like a playground, right? Like you jump in, you run in there into a jiu-jitsu mat, you start doing forward rolls, and you're stretching, you look all weird, you're walking like a monkey. You know? How cool is that though, right? To your point, as adults, we forget that we can play, and jiu-jitsu can be playful, and and I think so can CrossFit, so can any kind of small group fitness type environment. You have because you are pushing yourself, you are looking around each other and grappling jiu-jitsu, and you're kind of like, on one hand, you can't be worse than you were yesterday, and so you're always trying to become just a tiny bit better, a tiny bit different. So that's the challenge. And then what's there to measure that success is kind of your partners and your teammates, right? So not only are you challenging yourself, but there's a little bit of a measurement of success between your partners and your teammates that helps you, drive you. And then of course the coaches that you look up to, you're constantly learning from and trying to do new things, based on what they've showed you.
Yeah, totally. And that's what's like so fun about being able to travel around and see all these different coaching styles and stuff, because it really develops your coaching style too. Obviously, like you love teaching the basics, and we kind of touched on like teaching the beginners the rear naked choke so they know what that feels like. And I teach fundamentals classes, and I just absolutely love it. I just think it's so fun to see like those things click.
Yeah.
And do you like, what is the most exciting thing to you about like teaching and coaching beginners? And like, do you ever get bored teaching arm bars for like the millionth time?
Not really. I do what I think is neat is when it clicks with them.
Yeah.
Right. It's clicked with me. But then when I'm sitting there, let's just say sometimes it's cool. Like you get a group of people who have been together, let's just say 3 to 6 months, and you have some new people come in, and they're still part of this beginner group. And you're going over some arm bars. And when you have, the white belt sitting next to you going, move your arm down a little bit. You're not under the elbow. Or something, when that white belt, when it clicks with them, the fundamentals as to why you're doing a move the way you're doing it, why the thumb has to be, up, or, why you're in a straight arm key lock, your arm has to be under the elbow, So it's neat to see when it clicks with, even one of those newbies, when it clicks to them, why you're doing what you're doing.
Right. Right.
It's not necessarily a fight. There's technical things happening here fundamentally with the way we move our body and the way we can or can't bend our arms.
Yeah.
So I think it's neat when people get it. And that kind of is what keeps you from getting bored, because the more they get it, then the more bored I get. And that's why I like going back to the beginners, because I like seeing them get it.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah. And also I feel like, so I've been training with my professor for 5-6 years now. And I have seen like his coaching style develop much, where he was teaching a technique last night, and I'm like, you never taught me like that. Because obviously like everybody's techniques and evolves over time. So like, I feel like I've continuously taught arm bars in different ways. So it does like stay fun and fresh.
For sure. And it's neat how you say that, when you evolve, because we all do that, right? That is really neat, where, especially in this day and age with the internet and so on. Like what I like to do is, I will attend somebody's seminars, I will video as much as I physically can, and then I will go and practice exactly what I learned in a seminar.
Yeah.
Now, I do make it a rule for myself, is that I won't ever teach something I haven't physically seen firsthand in person.
Yeah.
So like I won't go on YouTube and look up somebody that I've never actually trained with. So I will only ever teach something that I got from somebody that I actually trained with.
Yeah,
Love that.
that's a good rule.
Right? It's a good rule. But then what's great about that is, we're all stealing each other's stuff and then we're making it better.
And then resharing it.
Yeah. Right. So you watch somebody do this move and then you go and practice it over and over again. And then I reshare it with somebody and then they're doing it their way because they're, a centimeter shorter than I am, or their arms are built to just a little different, or they're more flexible, or whatever it is. It's so incredibly interesting to the fact that you can have the exact same movement, but done a tiny bit differently with every single person that you're sharing it with. And so each of them will get it at their own pace.
Yes.
And their own way, right? When you're teaching that short wrestler something versus teaching that really long, lengthy kid, right?
Yeah. It's two different things.
Yes. And they're going to get it differently.
Yes.
And then, the short, chubby person is going to get something even else differently. And so now when you kind of just keep going around the room and you'll realize everybody's just a tiny bit different. It may be the same move, but one, you have to use different words when you explain it, maybe. Two, you have to show it just a tiny bit differently. I like to I'll show the whole move and then I'll pull everybody back together and say, okay, now let's break it down. Let's tighten it up.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, just focus on my arm. How's my arm movement? How's my grip? Now let's just focus on my hips. Here's how I'm turning my hips. Now let's just focus on my feet, whatever it may be. And each of them will get a little bit of a different thing. And then they break off into their groups and, they're doing it their way. And you come back in, you tighten it up even more.
Love it. Let's talk about acting a little bit, because I don't think everybody just wakes up and says, I'm going to start jiu-jitsu and then accidentally become this great action actor. So you said that you got into it from just answering a Facebook ad. Tell us a little more about that. And did you ever imagine that would become more than a hobby?
I did not. So truth be told, when I was like 17 or 18, I really wanted to be an actor because I thought I wanted to be a famous actor, right? Nice. And so I went to New York City because I lived in New York at the time, and I went back up to New York City and I auditioned for like 10 things, didn't get anything, and went back home. So I even had a headshot made. I was like, yes, I'm going to be a big actor, and nothing ever happened. Failed, right? Gave up. 30 days of my life down the drain. So now, of course, I again had the opportunity. There was a Facebook ad. They wanted another gym in Louisville, Kentucky, about an hour and a half away from me. They just needed some help with a fight scene that they were filming for a really low budget independent film. And they wanted some gym guys, and it was a friend of a friend I saw. I said, hey, my son and I will come. So we went down. We ended up getting a chance to be part of this fight scene. My son hated it. He's, former Marine, very disciplined, hated the waste of time. I sat around and, I looked at him like, wow, this is kind of cool. The behind the scenes of how this made, how many times we had to do this same little fight for, you're going to see a fight. It's going to last 12 seconds on film, but we did this now for 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different point of views. Yes. Every angle, different point of views, add the blood, pause, do all these different things. And I thought it was, and intrigued me.
Yeah.
And it was kind of another chance to learn. So we did that film. My son told me, don't waste my time. Don't ever bring me again. I said, okay. And it just so happened the next week, there was another Facebook ad that they needed extras to be in a film that was a Hollywood film that was going to be filmed in Kentucky. The name of the film was, it was the Ted Bundy film that Zac Efron played Ted Bundy.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know that when I signed up. I just said, okay. They said they wanted people that looked like they could be prison guards. I said, okay. So I signed up. I ended up there as a background person, just standing there as a guard. And Zac Efron is supposed to walk through in handcuffs, and one of the main guards is supposed to take off his handcuffs, and then he walks in and his lawyer tells him he's going to get the death penalty. Well, so I'm just standing there, and the guy who they had hired to actually be the main guard was a little too tall for Zac, and I happen to be the exact same height as Zac.
Oh, wow.
And interestingly enough, the guy was fumbling taking off his handcuffs, because he was so tall and couldn't look him in the eyes and, still get his hands in the key in a hole. Yeah. And so the director at the time said, I need somebody else who can take off these cuffs. And I was standing right there and I was Zac's exact height. And he's like, you. So in my first film, I spent, basically 3.5 days on set, taking on and off Zach's handcuffs and following him into the jail cells in different scenes. And like I said, you see it on TV. It's, it may be a 4-second scene, but we did that for 4 hours. So I did that, and it was funny because my daughter at the time was cheerleading, and we went down to Florida for this big cheerleading event. And the day the Zac Efron, the film came out, I'm there. I'm like, I think I'm in this film. I take off Zach's handcuffs, and they're like, no, you didn't. And of course, the film comes out, and there I am. You see me just front and center taking off his cuffs. You can see my face. You can see, you can see everything.
Yay!
And I'm like, holy cow, I did it. And then my daughter and her friends are like, oh my God, you touched Zac Efron.
That's so funny. So how long? How old were you at this point? Like, how long had you been training jiu-jitsu?
12, 13 years at that point. And because it was only about 7-8 years ago that I started the acting piece.
That is crazy.
That is so cool.
So I did that one as background, and then I started saying, well, this is fun. So then I made it a point to start searching places I could go get some training, how I could learn how to do more of the action scenes, how I could actually become an actor.
Oh my gosh.
That is so cool. So you like coordinate fight scenes and stuff now as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. So what I did, because I was traveling, so back to the point of, I've been lucky, very fortunate in my real career, you could say, that enabled me to travel. So I was going to Atlanta for work a lot. So what I would do is I would sign up for background on one of the, big shows that they film in Atlanta. And at the same time, I would go to a place called ATL Stunts and do stunt training.
Cool. Oh, that's great.
Which is, again, no kickboxing background, jiu-jitsu background. I was able to do, just a quick, 2 to 4 hour stunt training. I was able to film, some kind of background, whether it was The Resident, The Walking Dead, or whatever. I was able to be on, a bunch of different films, which when you're around it, you start to meet people that are filming.
Yeah.
And you learn the terminology. You start to understand camera angles, and you just understand everybody's role, right? If you're paying attention. And so that led me to starting to see who, watch Facebook groups of stunt coordinators. So then I started attending, more of the weekend long camps, held by, people like Hugh Fitzgerald from 87 North Action in LA. And so, once I go to a camp and, I talk to them and I'm like, hey, I'll come to another one of your camps. And then I become, friends with them. And then when you do that, you get a chance to collaborate with them for films that they're working on, and you're part of the team. And so, again, just not being afraid to be a beginner and ask people, how I could get involved, and trying it and putting myself on the line has led to then me being able to help with some independent films, some regular films, coordinate some of the fights, deal with safety, and even in coordinating fights now, what's cool is I get to incorporate jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So cool.
Right. And now I've had to learn, obviously, because some jiu-jitsu, you and I know, can be boring, right? We could lay with our heads down, on the ground.
Yes.
But with, for camera, you have to find a way to open up enough for camera that the camera can see your faces, right? And camera has to be able to see the movements. So, again, I went and trained with Hugh Fitzgerald, who worked, on 87 North with John Wick series and all of them. And saw the use of jiu-jitsu there. So now I'm able to kind of be smarter about it and, incorporate, fireman's carries and a shotgun arm bar instead of maybe a regular arm bar.
There you go.
Some different things, so you incorporate some different things that are, for lack of a better term, sexy on film.
Really opening the body angle up.
Yeah. And so it's made it more fun. And then what's cool about it too is, I put myself out there where, look, to a producer or to a filmmaker, I'm willing to just help do your fight choreography. B, I'm willing to help coach, train your actors.
Oh, nice.
Part one-on-one with them. And C, I'm willing to be one of those actors.
Hell yeah. You're a triple threat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like quadruple threat. I lost count of all the things, but that is so cool. So now you've been doing this for what, like almost
8 years?
8 years?
Yeah. almost 8 years. I've done about 80 different, call it from anywhere from no budget, low budget to, Hollywood production type series. I've got a few of the lower budget things coming out. I've got a SAG middle budget thing coming out. So a low budget thing I did in Louisville, Kentucky. It's called a dish best served cold. Should be premiering September 3rd on Tubi or Amazon. I'm not sure yet. I don't know which one has picked it up, but
Nice.
I play a professional district attorney who does have a secret, and I'm basically not a good guy. So that was fun. Yeah, it was actually a supporting role. My name's on the poster.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I've waited 2 years really for it to come out. There's some issues with sound and some other things. But making a film is not easy. It's crazy because again, you and I will watch it in an hour and a half, but the fact that from script to screen can be 2 years.
Right. Oh, lots of changes, cuts.
Yeah.
So we know you have some more upcoming projects. Can you tell us more about The Desperate?
Yeah, so The Desperate, it's a Chase Dudley production. He's done 10 other films. Noel G is actually in this one. He was the guy, he plays Hector in pretty much everything he's ever done. He was in Fast and Furious. And anyway, I'm one of his henchmen. So I get a chance to carry a gun and walk around, wear a tank top and look like a badass.
Very cool.
Yes.
That should be coming out in the next month. There was a film here in Kentucky that was filmed that should be coming out I play a prison guard. It's called Fatally Yours. And I have some lines in that. That should come out on Amazon Prime or Netflix. And then I'm really excited about a new project that I'm working on. Well, I'll call it a new project, but it's been in works for like 2 years.
Ooh,
it's called Shattered.
Yes, I wanted to hear all about this.
Yeah, so and then we just recently put up a fundraising page, a Kickstarter page for it and everything. But, ideally we're going to try to get some Hollywood funding, some big funding.
Yeah.
We're looking at, trying to raise between $500,000 and $1 million to make this film. And we're doing a Kickstarter program just to raise 20 grand. And the 20 grand really goes into helping us put together the pitch deck and all the things we need to get Hollywood to sign off on it. But it's an interesting story. It's based on a true story. It's a father in Ohio. And what happened is, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of the story, but the father's daughter was basically sold into human trafficking by the drug addicted mother. And
it's too real.
And it's based on some events that really happened, and he ends up killing the trafficker.
Yes.
and going to jail. And that's the true story. And he dies in jail, actually. And in this film, there's some extra events that we've added and some other things. The business partner, who's the main, the director and one of the producers, is his friend had an opportunity to actually interview the person, and so knows the story well.
Excellent.
And he's turned it into a script. And then obviously we're gonna Hollywood it, in a sense, make it a lot more dramatic and a lot more things that occur. Daniel O'Reilly, a good friend of mine, is the lead actor. Is the lead actor. He's the father. He was in Girl on a Mountain and a ton of other things. And my business partner, Chris Maggart, this is his third feature film, so it should be fun. It's called, the website is Shattered the Movie. And we have already filmed the sizzle reel.
Oh,
and
great.
Most of that, what's neat about that too is, again, I live in Kentucky, and I've got a 10.5 acre farm property, and we filmed the sizzle reel right here on my property.
Oh, how cool.
I bet it's beautiful.
Yeah. And then, again, I've got, there's another movie called In Between the Living and the Dead. It's another Chase Dudley film that we filmed for 11 days here on my property.
Cool.
That was a little bit more challenging because there was, 30 or 40 people here every day for 11 days. And then on some days there was like 60 or 70 people because of background and some of the things that we did. That's a post-apocalypse type movie.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. What a moment though. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's such a cool journey though. Like,
yeah.
And you can be anything. I always, it's funny because my acting reel, I try to be like real serious, not smile, look like a badass, Yeah. I think that's fun. And then somebody says, what's your ideal role? I'm like, I want to play a serial killer.
Ooh.
Dark.
Do you have like a specific one or just anybody?
No, just like a made up one.
Okay.
But to that point, that would be wild. Actually, imagine trying to become a specific person that there's real articles about, like, and you think about, Zac Efron when he became Ted Bundy, like,
right.
That's a transformation, right? He went from,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he was, he was in the movie right before that where he's a big, bodyguard, lifeguard, right? He was, I can't remember what it was called, but he was in that movie. Next thing you know, he's playing, the skinny Ted Bundy looking guy.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's crazy. So I do think it's neat when you respect, the respect that you have to have, again, for, a white belt turned black belt, all the years and time that it takes to get there. And then when you look at an actor who's able to transform themselves from one person to another in films, it's pretty cool.
It's amazing. It really is. It really is amazing. And it just like goes to show again how much people like evolve and are capable of changing and growing and doing so many different things. And
at any point.
It really is incredible. This might be a really hard question to answer, but do you have a favorite project that you've worked on so far?
So I'll give you I'll tell you a story, which is also why it's my favorite. So I was in Atlanta. I was doing stunt training, and I did a stand-in role on Tulsa King, where you just stand there while they're adjusting cameras and lights for the main star. Then the main star comes in and replaces you. But it was cool because I got to see Sylvester Stallone and so on.
Oh, that is cool.
I just did that for a day, and then I was stunt training, and I was on my way to the airport to come home, and I got a message that said I could be background on Scarpetta.
You just did that recently, yes.
Right. And so it was just a message I could be background on Scarpetta. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. So instead of flying home, I flew to Nashville because that's where they're filming it.
Okay.
And I figured, okay, I'm going to go there because you have to do sizing, you have to do all the stuff in advance, and then I could drive home from Nashville, and then I'd have to be back there early Monday morning. So I'm like, okay, so what? This is life isn't easy, right?
Right.
I'm like,
just go for it.
Right. Why not? I mean, it could be a cool experience. Why not? Let's just go for it. So I change my flight. I go to Nashville. I go there for the sizing. I drive home. I show up there really early Monday morning, and I was like the first person there. And the lady who was in charge said to me and one of the other guards, they're like, hey, would you guys mind being the one that puts the shackles on the prisoner that's going to death row? And I'm like, no problem. So again, simply because I was the one who showed up. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not any more skilled than anybody else, but I simply showed up. And so me and the other guy said, sure, we'll practice. So there's a background person, a stand-in that we're supposed to take on and off his shackles. So we walk in, he's in his prison cell, and he's going to go to death row. And so we go in there, we walk in, he raises his arms, we put the shackles on. 10 times we practice, and they're like, okay, great. The main actor comes in and is standing there. And so we walk in to do everything like we've been doing. He doesn't raise his arms.
Oh, no.
So I say, arms up. And so then he raises his arms, and we do it. And we did that about 8 to 10 times. Next scene, we go and we're going into walk him into where the chair is, right? Because he's going to be put to death.
Yeah.
And we have to turn him. And so I say, right turn. So anyway, they after that, they shoot it a few times and they cut, and the lady comes over to me, the director, and says, we really like what you're doing. We're going to need you to sign some paperwork now because you now have a speaking role in this film.
Yes. Yes.
So you think
That's a milestone right there.
Right. And so it's a speaking role on Scarpetta for season 2. So it's not out yet, but it will be out. And who knows you never know if it gets cut or not, but you should. The way it worked out was I ended up going from background to a speaking role simply because I showed up, simply because I was paying attention enough to know what should be happening at the moment.
Yeah. Finding the cue.
And willing to be the person that said, I'll practice doing this. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how fun. I love that.
It really is so cool. I feel like it's just like the theme of your life is you just stay curious, you don't quit.
Yeah.
You just pursue every opportunity that you get. And that is so cool.
And it's funny because you think of, again, I'll go back to, how many people will say, oh, I wish I could do that. Well, think of all the things you've done in life. It's not like nothing's ever been handed to you.
No.
Right.
No.
So it's not a matter of wishing. It's just, try it.
It's like, what's stopping you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now it's funny too, because even now, so I've been I'm acting, I'm doing all these different things. But one of the things I joke now with my wife is because, I'm doing a lot of auditions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when I was working full time and doing my job, I think I've interviewed maybe 5 times in 30 years in my real job, because it was always relationships and career pathing and headhunters, and you move from one position to another without that many auditions or, interviews.
Right. They just move you through.
Right. But oh my gosh, with acting, I audition, 3 to 10 times a week to do one thing a month.
Yeah, that's wild.
And you have to find that, right? Or do you have an agent?
Yes. So I have 2 agents, one that represents kind of Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, and one that represents Ohio and Pennsylvania and part of New York. And then I also have a manager in LA.
Okay.
But I do a lot of stuff through what's great with technology these days, a system called Actors Access. Mm-hmm. And based on my profile, I get stuff sent to me. I click a button that says I would be available, I would be interested. And then they choose to send me the script of, the lines that they want me to read in front of camera.
Oh, wow.
And so I do a video audition for 99% of the things I do. And then either it goes into a black hole and I never hear anything.
Right.
Or I get a hey, we're potentially interested. Can you save this date? Nice. And then black hole and I never hear anything. Or that finally you get a, hey, could you be in LA tomorrow?
Yeah.
6 a.m. please.
Right. So you just never know. But look, if I'd rather audition for 100 things and get one than not audition and get nothing.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So with your life, your schedule being like it is, what does your training look like right now? And you teach regularly also, right?
Yeah. So I've got to the point where regularly is a stretch, but I am teaching on Mondays and Saturdays.
Nice.
Okay. And so there's and kind of the way it works. And luckily at my gym, kind of knowing our background, we've got 5 black belts, each with different masters, essentially different affiliations, but we're all, we're under Carlson Gracie. Mm-hmm. I'm a Carlson Gracie black belt. My business partner is a Carlson Gracie black belt, and my business partner, he takes it very seriously. I mean, it's his full-time job.
Okay.
He is teaching CrossFit in the mornings. He's doing jiu-jitsu at noon. He's doing jiu-jitsu at 6:00 at night. He's teaching CrossFit in the afternoons. I mean, he lives at that gym. He loves it. The people at the gym follow him. They know him. I, on the other hand, come in and out. I say hi to everybody. I talk to everybody. I do 99% of the marketing and bringing people into the door. And then he does 99% of the cultivating and the developing and the coaching. And then I try to go one day a week to the 5 a.m. class and say hi and teach. I try to go 1 day a week to the Monday night class, either to our gym or one of the affiliates
Okay.
that I have. And then on Saturdays is really a laid back. I'll try to do, which is more beginner. Let's work some. Let's just lay around on a mat and let's work some technique.
Nice.
Saturdays, and Saturdays sometimes I'll try to do kickboxing as well.
Nice. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So do you do a lot of cross training, or are you mostly training jujitsu and then doing whatever fight stuff you have to do for work?
Cross training.
Okay. What's your favorite of all of the things?
Ooh.
So yeah, I like from an age standpoint, I like doing CrossFit / circuits because it helps me look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I hear that.
You know what I mean? So I can keep muscles. I can keep, physically fit.
Yeah.
I like jujitsu from the mental aspect of it because it's good to know you're a badass.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
looking good doesn't help me in real life.
Right.
But that's the first impression of you. Right. So, being at least slim, fit, muscular in a way that I can be at 55, but then knowing and having that aura of, wow, yeah, he's a black belt also. And when needed, I can choke you out,
Yeah, totally.
Don't play with me.
Yeah. So I think my favorite, it kind of flows, I will make it a point to do something good for my body every day. Right. So whether it's stretching, working out in the morning, my wife and I love to work out together. Normally that's 6 a.m. If I don't go to jiu-jitsu or she doesn't go do some kind of hot yoga or something different, we like to do different things. So I probably would get bored if I just did one. But, and again, I'm going to compete in Master Worlds. I compete 1 to 3 times a year.
Oh, great.
So I don't think lifting is not impacting my ability to do jiu-jitsu.
Right.
If anything, sometimes jiu-jitsu impacts your ability to lift because your shoulder hurt. At least my shoulder hurts or something hurts. So
yeah,
that's why I'm on a break from lifting right now.
Yeah. So I think you have to know your body. And I feel like I kind of, if I'm going to take a break, it probably is from rolling first. That's the first thing I'll lose is rolling.
Yeah.
I love drilling still. And then I love teaching the most.
Yeah.
So there are times where I'll go and I'll just teach and show a technique and I won't roll or drill hard.
Give your body that break.
Yeah. But it kind of feels weird because it's kind of weird if your black belt instructor is just, sitting on the floor watching and not doing it,
Yeah, but like also like they get it. You don't do it all the time, right? Like,
right.
If you never rolled.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So it's different if you never do it. But sometimes, so I do find the first thing to go for me is rolling. And no matter what, I'll get up and I'll do something for my body.
Yeah.
Good.
And to your point of learning from different people, right? I mean, look at Carlson Gracie, look at Sean Hammonds, look at Rafael Lovato, right? I mean, you look at these legends, these guys that have been doing it for so long, and you have to say, what's your secret? How are you still able to do what you love? And I think, and I've learned that from those folks,
Yeah, so great. Why do you think that little successes matter?
Well, because so many people create that big, hairy, audacious goal, right? So many people have this goal to win worlds or whatever it might be.
The world champion.
Then they go as fast and as hard as they can to get there. And then they get hurt on the way.
Right.
Right. Or they never get there because there's just some reason, some time, whether it's timing, place, position, age, whatever it is, something keeps them from getting to that one single goal.
Right.
So if you have smaller goals, that building blocks that build upon each other, then you're more apt, I think, to stay the course and just continue chugging along because you feel a little bit of success every day. You feel a little bit of success. You have these tiny milestones all build up to something big, right? And so if you only have one giant rock that you're trying to get over and you never get over it, well, then you feel like a failure every day you wake up. I'd much rather feel good about the fact I got out of bed, feel good about the fact, hey, I did that workout. Now let's see if I can make it to to jiu-jitsu at noon, you know?
Yeah.
So like every little milestone, I think, helps you mentally be more prepared for the next thing. And I think that success builds success.
Yeah.
And so, hell, I can't go to jiu-jitsu if I can't get out of bed. I can't, and I'll be stronger if I at least get my, my 45 to 60-minute workout in the morning.
Yes.
So you feel better doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
And success builds success. So you keep doing it.
Yeah. I love it. I love your story.
I think it's so cool.
Now,
Really.
does your son still train, and has your wife ever trained? Just out of curiosity.
So my wife did train jiu-jitsu a little bit. She didn't like the choke side of it. She didn't like
fair. That's a hard
the
thing.
aggressive. However, she is a badass. We'll kickbox sometimes together, and she will pick up and down weights all day, every day, and do cardio. And her legs are 10 times stronger than mine. So it's great. Sometimes we'll be doing workouts. I'm like, man, she lifts more than I do with my legs for sure.
She's
That's a lady.
Oh,
Yes.
she'd triangle the shit out of you if she wanted.
That's right.
She's gonna bring those thighs.
Yeah. No, she's awesome, and she's a badass, and it's fun, being able to do stuff together.
Yeah, that's really
so
cool.
When it's neat because we'll go like vacation with some different family members, and the first thing we do when we get somewhere is we find a place we're going to go hiking. We find a place we're going to go work out.
Yeah.
No matter where we are in the world.
We're similar. Even if I'm walking 20 miles a day, something just keep me moving.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, well, this has been such a good conversation, and we don't want to take up too much more of your time because we know it's very valuable, and we so appreciate you chatting with us. So we like to end on a little bit of like rapid fire questions. Are you down?
All right. I'm down with it.
All right. Awesome. So we'll start easy. Gi or no gi?
Gi. I'm old.
Favorite submission?
Head and arm triangle.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Favorite technique to teach?
I would say different variations of the head and arm triangle.
We're consistent. I love it.
And because I like that, because you take a new person and you can say, look, somebody throws a haymaker at you, close your distance, duck under, and you can show it standing, you can show it on the ground, you can show it from north, south. I mean, you can just show it from so many different ways, and it's easy to get.
Facts.
Yeah, I like that. What do you feel like is the most underrated thing beginners should know?
Foundations, right? They want to watch YouTube right now and see some fancy roll. No, let's just do a technical stand-up.
Yeah, start at the beginning. They miss so much that way. I get so annoyed. I'm like, stay off of YouTube till you're a purple belt. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any like guilty pleasure TV shows or movies that might surprise us?
It's not really. I'd say my wife and I will kind of binge watch some stuff. Typically, they're true crime. True crime, or at least they're based on a true story, and you're like, you just get sucked in.
That's us too. Do you guys fall asleep to Forensic Files?
You can't fall asleep to it though.
Every hotel room always has a Forensic Files marathon too, so it's great.
Yes. That's right. You just have to shut it off halfway through, because if you don't, you're stuck on the second half, and then you have to.
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite like movie fight scene of all time?
No, I think just watching John Wick.
Nice.
Just watching the movement.
That's when it got good, right?
Yeah.
What's your go-to post-competition meal?
Spaghetti, meatballs, pizza.
Nice.
Pizza. You know what? Pizza and cheeseburger.
Oh, dude, I'm such a burger gal.
Spaghetti, meatball, pizza, cheeseburger. In whatever order you want to throw it at me.
Just all of it.
Yeah.
The meatballs are now on the burger. The spaghetti is the bun.
Yeah, for sure.
Crisp it up in a waffle maker. All right.
Oh, that sounds great. What do you feel like was the most difficult belt to get through?
Oh,
Purple. That's
Oh, yes.
I feel like
where I
that's
started getting the injuries.
okay.
We hate purple belt.
I feel like that's the most consistent answer when I ask people that is purple.
It fucking sucks.
No hesitation.
Sorry, everyone.
You know what's funny? Because I think as a white and blue belt, at least for me, is I was still always learning. And for some reason, when you're a purple belt, you're supposed to still be learning, but you're also supposed to know enough to teach.
Yeah, you're in the middle, and you don't know as much as you think you do.
Right.
Because when you get to brown
still
belt, you have to dial it in. It sucks.
Yeah. And it's funny because your conversations are different too. You're like, "Oh, I'm a purple belt," and to people that don't know, you're like, "Yeah, I'm the best in the world." But
Right.
to anybody that knows anything, they're like, "You got a long way to go, son."
Yeah. They're like, "Welcome to the beginning."
Yes, welcome to the beginning
of phase 2.
And it's funny because I used to joke because it took me so long to get my black belt. I was like, "Yeah, the day I get my black belt, I'm quitting." But instead, I think I've learned more as a black belt than I learned my entire time in jiu-jitsu.
I believe that. I'm ready for that.
You know, it's funny because you end up, the second you become black belt, now you're really focused on the basics. Now you're really focused on, you have to do that move in a most efficient and effective manner versus just doing the move.
Yeah. You're held to a higher standard, whether you want to be or not. It happens overnight.
Yep. That's exactly it.
How long have you been a black belt now then?
Almost 6 years.
6 years.
I'll get my second stripe next year.
Wow. That's so awesome. What was that moment like when you earned your black belt?
Oh, it was incredible. So Carlson called me. He's like, "Yeah, you need to come for this next week's training at headquarters." And he was in Chicago. And I go, and at the time I walk in, and Heath Pedigo was coming in, and Mikey from, what is this? Oh my gosh. The money guy. Mikey. No, from the TV show, Mikey and Heath, they did the initial TV show for,
the
Who's Number One?
Fresh. Oh,
yes, Who's Number One? And so, and I didn't know it, but Mike trained under Carlson as well. And if you check his knuckles, he's got the bulldog logos. And so I'm walking in, and the camera crew is with Heath and them, and they're coming in, they're filming Mike going to get his black belt. So I'm like, I figured Carlson just wanted more people there for that.
Yeah.
And I come in, and he's like, Damien, he's like, "You're getting yours today too." Speaking a little Portuguese. So I'm not really sure what he said to me, but the fact that he ended up, but it was great because there was, some of the other, guys who, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6 striped black belts were there. And some of it was filmed from Mike getting his belt, was kind of cool. And that's actually how I met Heath Pedigo in that group as well, even though they're not under Carlson. Mike was under Carlson. And so it was kind of neat, just so surprised that it was amazing because, you work so hard to get somewhere, and then you finally get there. And up until that moment, I'm like, yeah, it's so hard. The second I get my black belt, I'm retiring. And then the second I got my black belt, I'm like, well, now I got to represent this. I actually have to learn what I'm doing.
Yeah. Damn. Oh man.
It's kind of like a wake up call.
Yeah, because you're like, now that I'm a black belt, I need to kind of respect it more. And just be better and learn and understand the details, the intricacies, the reasons why we move with purpose, not just move to submit somebody,
Yes.
Totally. So we totally veered off of the rapid fire, which is totally fine because
this is standard. But we're going to finish that for you now.
Just a couple more quick questions. So first one, you have a super fight tomorrow. What is your walkout song?
So I need something to amp me up. So it's like Bad Motherfucker by, Kid Rock and Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh,
I love
there you go. How's
Gun Kelly. That's my boy.
God. I love that he hates Connor too.
It is so great.
I mean, but that you put that on. I mean, come on.
Everybody's ready.
That gets the blood flowing for sure.
That's right. That's right.
And if your best friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
I think you kind of look at that and you say, Nice, demanding, and hard.
Nice, nice and hard. Okay, I like that.
All right.
Nice, demanding, and hard.
Nice, demanding, and hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Very awesome. Yeah. So where can people find you? Where can people follow you, keep up with you?
And tell us your website again for Shattered.
So shatteredthemovie.com is follow this movie, especially by the time this comes out. Hopefully we have more news on funding. I think we've raised $10,000 in the last week, and we're going to continue raising. And then obviously, it takes real money to do it right. I mean, we could do some stuff, but we hope to do this right. We want to really tell the story. We want to use some fire. We want to do some stuff that really gets people to see the problem in America today. Right.
I agree.
And then if you want to follow me, it's Damien Tanenbaum on Instagram, one word. And just, I love communicating with people, chat, whatever. Look me up on Instagram.
Yeah. Where can people come and train with you and take your class?
Oh man, Triple Crown Athletic in Northern Kentucky. So we're 20 minutes outside Cincinnati. We're about 20 minutes from the CVG airport. So if you fly into CVG, which is the Cincinnati airport, you are in Kentucky. Come visit us.
Beautiful. I will be planning a cross-country road trip here soon. So
there you go.
I got to make a list of gyms I want to drop into.
Yes. Come see us, teach a class, get to know some people, do a live broadcast.
Yeah. That would be so much fun. We would love that.
Well, awesome.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you, Damien.
Super excited to chat with you. So we look forward to following you more and supporting your projects and everything.
And seeing you soon.
Well, I will see you at the Hero Academy.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Damien. Take care.
See you later.
Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram at Chokeholds and Chill Pod, or shoot us a message at chokeholdsandchillpod@gmail.com.